Does this sound familiar? You set an important goal, but you don't know how to take action on it. Unfortunately, one of the major flaws with setting goals is it's hard to figure out the daily process of actually achieving them. The unpleasant truth is that while setting goals can be fun, the achievement part often requires a daily slog of repeating the same action over and over. Ultimately, it's your habits that will make or break your success with a goal. So in this video, I will talk about the 5-step process for turning your goals into simple habits. Now be sure to watch this whole video all the way to the end, because I will also give you a few free resources you can use to get started with turning your goals into habits. And finally, if you enjoy the content of this video, then please help us out by taking a few seconds to hit the like button. Let's get to it. Step number 1. Turn your goal into a project. Odds are, your goal requires multiple actions, so you need to turn it into a step-by-step project. The easiest way to do this is to look at the date of when you want to achieve this goal and then work your way backward. In other words, you want to identify the actions you need to take to reach a specific milestone, and then put these actions into a simple step-by-step project list. Example: let's say that one of your current goals is to complete the New York City Marathon in November 2021. To make this happen, you would have to break down this fitness goal into a series of small goals, habits, and milestones. Here's an example of how I would turn this goal into a project list. 1. Find out the date when the registration starts for the marathon. 2. Schedule a reminder to sign up on that day. 3. Sign up for the New York Marathon. 4. Create a week-by-week plan with an emphasis on increasing your long run. 5. Tracking your daily running to stay accountable to this goal. 6. Run 1 or 2 half marathons to gauge your overall level of fitness. 7. Book a round-trip ticket to New York City. 8. Book a hotel room for the first week of November. 9. Write down a packing list for the items that you will need during the race. 10. Pack for the marathon and hop on the plane. 11. Go to the Marathon Expo, pick up race instructions, and figure out the best time in the morning to leave for the race. 12. Wake up on the morning of the marathon and make your way to the starting line. 13. Complete the New York City Marathon. Now, the one thing you might notice is that many of these actions are fairly simplistic, but that's the point of turning your goals into a project list. Almost all of your goals will require a series of actions and habits. So if you take the time to create a series of simple steps, you'll find that it's easy to chip away at a long-term goal in daily increments. Step number 2. Schedule time to work on your goals. Notice how I said schedule time, not find time. Many people make the mistake of trying to squeeze goals into their busy days. Often this leads to failure because the urgent but not important activities have a way of taking up most of your day. How much time you spend on a goal depends on the time that's required. Some goals only require a few minutes each week, while others require hours out of your day. So it's important to figure out how much time you'll need for each task, then schedule these activities into your week. For instance, let's continue with the New York Marathon example. An important part of any marathon program is completing a long run every 2 weeks, which builds up to 20 to 22 miles. To make this happen, you would have to proactively schedule a 3 to 4 hour block of time on a bi-weekly basis to complete this run. Additionally, you will need to schedule about an hour a few times each week for completing those shorter runs. Regardless of when you work on a goal, a helpful trick is to create a schedule where you do the same activity at the same time every day. That way, when you reach that hour, you'll get used to following this habit without experiencing a lot of internal resistance. In fact, the more routine a goal becomes, the more you'll do it on a consistent basis. Step number 3. Turn goals into important tasks. We've already talked about why it's important to make time instead of finding time. Unfortunately, that's easier said than done. We all have those busy schedules full of activities that conflict with one another. So what's the solution? You start each day by working on your important goals first thing in the morning. In a recent video, we talked about a concept called your one thing, where you identify your most important task and then prioritize this activity for first thing in the morning. So continuing with the marathon example, you could start each day with a run. Then, after showering, eating a quick breakfast and driving to work. You'd spend the rest of the morning working on the projects that have the biggest impact on your career. And then you would end the day by focusing on the activities that are important but aren't directly tied to long-term goals, like answering email. The key to all of this is making sure you're proactively scheduling time for your goals and resisting the temptations to work on other things. Which brings us to the next step. Step number 4. Avoiding distractions. One of the biggest obstacles to achieving an important goal is getting bogged down by the single actions that are urgent but aren't important for your long-term success. While these activities might seem important, they can often be distractions that prevent you from focusing on the goals that truly matter. So one quick way to avoid distractions is to use the getting things done approach, where you batch tasks according to the actions that need to be completed, such as answering emails, making phone calls, running errands, and doing tasks at work. And if you would like to discover additional ways to prevent obstacles from interfering with your goals, then watch our video on the 7 ways to prevent distractions while working or studying. Step number 5. Track your habits. The key to achieving a goal is consistency. Yes, you have to complete those single action items on your project list, but it's equally important to track your goal-related habits on a daily basis. What you track depends on the nature of each goal. That's why it's important to create measurements for every outcome you'd like to achieve. This could include precise timeframes, amounts, or units that quantify your progress towards a goal. Here are a few examples. If you have a writing-related goal, you could track your daily word counts. If you have an exercise-related goal, you could track the time, distances, or repetitions for your workouts. If you have a career-related goal, you could track the time spent on your most important task. So to get started, identify the number 1 habit related to your goal and then track it every day. How you track this habit depends on your personal preference. I like to use the Todoist app because this tool gives me a single interface for managing all my projects, tasks, and habits. And if you would like to learn more about this app, then be sure to check out our video on how to use Todoist to build lifelong habits. Now, if you prefer something else, then watch our video that profiles the 15 best habit tracking apps. Or, if you want a simpler way to track your habits, then be sure to check out the free offer in the description box of this video, which is a simple habit tracking template you can print out and use to build new habits. Finally, if you want to learn how to create actionable goals, then click and watch our video that goes over the SMART goal setting process with 21 examples.